Based on information from the Australian Boating Industry Association, as of 2024, there were 1 million registered vessels in Australia. Now, that's about one boat for every 26.7 Australians. I'm sure this wouldn't surprise anyone who's been on Sydney Harbour on New Year's Eve or some other significant event when you think that every one of those million boats was out there at once. Truth be told, though, of those 1 million boats, many are used infrequently or not at all. 85% of registered boats in Australia are under 6 metres, that's about 23 feet, and most of these would reside on trailers, on driveways or in sheds across the nation. We're going to focus on the other 15%, that I imagine those who watch my channel are interested in, that is, sailing vessels of 25 feet and over. And powerboaters, no need to switch off though, as most of what follows is relevant to you too. The premise for this video is that you should not buy a boat unless you are absolutely sure you know what you're getting yourself into, or at the very least, have an idea of what ownership will be like. I base these thoughts on my own experiences of having an interest in or being around boats for most of my life, including as a professional boat operator, but mostly as a recreational boater. You may like to add to some of the things on this list, and I encourage you to do so in the comments section below. Tell me what your thoughts are. So let's have a bit of fun and delve into 5 things to consider before you buy that boat. You shouldn't buy a boat unless, number 1, you're going to use it. If you're considering buying a boat because you think you might like one and you will probably use it, you probably shouldn't buy one. Like most things that are designed to move, boats need to be moved in order to keep them in good condition. Boat hulls in contact with water attract marine growth. Now, waterborne marine growth gets stronger as it matures, and that makes it harder to shift from your hull. Regular use helps to remove the young organisms and prevent them from becoming a problem requiring more regular, expensive haul-outs and scrapes. Clearly, the mechanical components also benefit from regular use, and engines lying dormant and cold attract sludge and deposits within the fine tolerances of the cooling and lubrication systems. Sails, running rigging, and associated gear all need to be moving to stay supple and not develop creases, chafing, and stiffness. Boats that lie unused also get dirty, very dirty. A dirty boat is a boat that no one wants to go on. The job to clean it becomes a chore, and this can lead to the owner not wanting to go on board. It's a cycle that can be prevented by regular usage. Regular usage also helps the owner to identify and address minor service issues as they present themselves before they become major service issues. I was on my boat recently and noticed that in a rainstorm there were small drops of water coming through one of the windows. Once the rain stopped, I went on deck and removed some Tide sealant and replaced it. If I hadn't seen it, it would have been left to drip into the interior, and all the problems of having water in the boat, such as rot, mould, and their associated smells, and damage would have started to present themselves. And this leads me to another point. Number 2. Don't buy a boat unless you have a minimum of basic do-it-yourself skills. Now, unless you are swimming in money and endowed with endless time, you should possess basic do-it-yourself skills before considering buying a boat. This is not only to save money, but also to get you out of sticky situations that only boats seem to have the ability to land you in. What kind of skills? Well, a basic understanding of how a 12-volt electrical system works, including how solar charging works, and how to navigate your way around a multimeter. A basic understanding of a small diesel engine and its associated components and attachments. How boat plumbing operates, including the dreaded marine toilet. Basic timber refinishing and painting skills. And the ability to sew is also very handy. You should also invest in the tools required to carry out some of this do-it-yourself, including the aforementioned multimeter, pliers, cutters, crimpers, screwdrivers, spanners, etc., etc. Keep them on your boat along with a box of spares, and your sanity, pocket, and sometimes your safety will thank you. From experience, getting a marine tradesperson to your boat is incredibly difficult and incredibly expensive when you can get one. Don't get me wrong here. You don't need to be a mechanic or marine electrician or a shipwright to own a boat. And I'm always happy to engage professionals for the big jobs and the important jobs. But for those little things, you should be prepared to get your hands dirty. Number 3. Don't buy a boat unless you have an understanding, or even better, an involved partner. The oft-used phrase that boats are jealous mistresses is truer than true. They want everything from you. Your time, your money, your patience, and your commitment and love. Sound familiar? Yes, boat ownership is a marriage, and your wife, husband, partner needs to be okay with there being someone else. I'm blessed to have a wife who loves sailing, loves relaxing on the boat, and equally as important, understands my need for quality me time. You don't need a partner that's all in like mine, but you need to have the conversation before you buy the boat. And number 4, don't buy a boat unless you understand that boating is a lifestyle and are prepared and able to pay for it. I'll leave a link in the description to my video on how much it costs to keep a boat in Sydney Harbour, as this will provide some insight into the potential costs. You can minimise your boating expenses by your choice of boat and mooring location. But at the end of the day, boating is still an expensive lifestyle and you have to be committed to it. If boat ownership is going to be a financial stress on you and your family, you need to consider other options, such as maybe renting a boat every now and then, or maybe entering into a syndicate. Now, I've got no experience in either of these things, but plenty of people find these a suitable way to enjoy boating. There will always be something that has to be done. And I'm at that dreaded time of year when my boat insurance is due, my engine service is due, my mooring service is due, etc., etc. I'd much rather spend my money on, well, just about anything really, rather than these boring things, but it's all part of the lifestyle. Every year I think this is the year I'm going to get the hull buffed, but there's always a boring thing that has to be paid for rather than the fun things. There are also some landscaping things at home that I keep putting off, as the boat needs to have, well, needs is a pretty subjective thing, I suppose. Number 5. Don't buy a boat unless you are an independent thinker. If you listen to all of the experts, and you know the ones, they've never owned a boat, they'd get seasick in a bathtub, and wear sailing clothes around every day just to be noticed. You'd never actually buy a boat. If I hear one more person who's never owned a boat tell me that the best 2 days in boat ownership are the, well, I'm liable to be arrested for my actions. These idiots have never felt the excitement of watching a wind bullet approach your boat, and the drama as the rigging tightens, the surge as the boat heels and takes off. They've never felt the pride of harnessing nature, never known how good it feels to find that perfect anchorage and you're the only boat in it. And how peaceful it is to watch the sun going down over the horizon and drifting off as the boat gently rocks you to sleep, knowing that you get to do it all again tomorrow. If you're not an independent thinker, you'll find yourself in a boat that is unsuitable for you, is moored in an area that doesn't work, and with a membership to a yacht club inhabited by people 20 years either side of your age group. You need to find your own way and buy the boat that works for you. The boat that you want to be on. There are boats more modern than mine, that are technically better, that sail faster, that are more comfortable, but let me tell you, I think that my boat is just the loveliest thing afloat, and thankfully, it's also technically capable. Not the best, but capable. When I'm approaching my boat in the dinghy, there's always that sense of pride and disbelief that it's actually mine. And this is how your boat should make you feel. If it doesn't, because you've bought one solely on the advice of others, you won't use it. A boat needs to be capable, but it also has to excite you. So listen to advice, learn as much as you can, but also think independently. So there you have it. 5 things to hopefully help you on your way to boat ownership, or to help you avoid an expensive mistake. No two people share the same journey to boat ownership, but the ones who make the best decisions are those with their eyes open. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for clicking the thumbs up button and for joining the free subscribers list. It's very, very much appreciated. See you in the next one.